Hello, hello, hello. Ibolachi, welcome. Zanori. And how do I say all the greetings from Morocco? My guests today, I have guests from Morocco, from Ethiopia, from Nigeria, from Kenya, and so on. So when they do come on, the first thing I'm going to ask them to do is to greet us in their mother tongue. And so, yes, this is Africa Rise with Susan West. And of course, I am super excited to be back here this Sunday. Last Sunday, I couldn't broadcast because I lost my voice. Yes, I was so croaked up, but I'm so happy that time heals all wounds, even my voice. And so today, we're going to be talking to young people from around the continent of Africa. We want to understand their minds, their aspirations, their goals for the continent of Africa and how to move the continent forward. And recently, I ran into a young man who invited me to a conference. And that conference, the topic or the discussions in that conference will be the premise of our discussions for today. So in no time, I will be bringing on my guest. But before I do that, allow me to take a commercial break and we will be right back.
This is Femi Anikula Pukuti. You're watching Susan Rice on African West. Keep watching.
I urge all of you who know what it means to be African, all of you who may not know what it means to be African, all of you who are on the journey of awakening, all of you who need enlightenment and continued support, to tune in to Africa Rise with Susan West. And to you, Susan, as a mother, I want to thank you for all the great work that you're doing to uplift us, to continue to engage us, to inform us, and also challenging us to engage in those conversations, difficult as they may be. You are taking us there. So Susan West, Africa Rise, keep up the great work.
Africa Rise with Susan West.
Welcome back. And so, of course, as you join the broadcast, do the needful as we do it here. Share this broadcast, invite your friends, join in on the conversation, send in your questions and comments as you may have them. If you haven't liked, followed, or subscribed to our channels, please do so. It is Africa Rise TV on YouTube, Africa Rise TV on Facebook. We have a new page and it's growing in numbers overnight. You know, it is also Africa Rise TV on Facebook, and it is Africa_Rise.tv on Instagram. Please like, follow, subscribe, do whatever that you need to do to make sure that we get this program, this platform growing. Eden Kesita joining all the way from Uganda. Welcome, my Ugandan brother. And you know, in without taking too much of your time, I'm going to begin to bring our guests. First, I will bring in Karima. Karima Ranem is joining us from Morocco. Please go ahead and introduce yourself really quickly after I bring Adeola from Lagos. I believe Adeola is joining us from Lagos, and Taslim is joining us from Ethiopia, I believe. So please go ahead, starting with Karima. Introduce yourself.
I'm from Mauritius.
Mauritius, right.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. I'm Karima Ghanem. I am CEO of Africa My Home. I'm from Morocco. I'm Moroccan, proud, but I'm Pan-African.
Right, and go ahead, Odusonya or Lalekon.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm here from Nigeria. My name is Odusonya Lalekon Adiola. I'm the CEO and Executive Director, 3D Africa Youth Organization. As my people do greet here, we say Eku Oleo. That's my native language, Yoruba language in Nigeria. So Eku Oleo, everybody.
Ekrole, I know Ekrole. Assalamu alaikum, I know. And Taslim, go ahead, please.
Hello, everyone. To introduce myself, so I'm
introduce
Taslim,
yourself. Greet
from
us in your native language. Greet us in your native language and introduce yourself, please.
Yeah. So I'm Tassim from Mauritius. So I'm a basically entrepreneur. I am the owner and founder of Overseas Medical Care Assistance Limited based in Mauritius, and we are heading to African countries. And also I'm entrepreneurs like building other businesses, meanwhile doing some work. So the main point is that we are from Mauritius, yes, but we are expanding toward Africa because we know where the future is. And we know that, yeah, Mauritius is apart from Africa. We are not connecting to Africa, but our heart is with Africa. So here we go. So thank you to be here. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Welcome. You are African. We consider you African. Okay, so really quickly, for our topic of discussion today, it is silencing the guns, sustainable economic recovery in the post-COVID era. The reason we're taking this topic is because this is the topic that you dealt with during your conference that I tried to broadcast on my platform, but unfortunately couldn't. So I want to start with Adeola Odusonya Olaleko from Lagos, because I believe he is the one who put this the conference together. So go ahead, Adeola, talk to us about your organization and why you went ahead. What was the reason why you put the conference together, and why the topic that you chose?
Okay, thank you, Susan. Once again, it's a pleasure being here. I am Odisona Lekwandola again from 3D Africa. 3D Africa is a pan-African organization, basically for youths. And then, of course, we are looking at community-based approach in ensuring that we motivate, inspire, and of course, engage young people from across the continent. And then, of course, we focus strictly on 4 major things as a way of as a panacea to solving African problem. Number 1 is community development through community leadership. We focus on empowerment of young people in terms of business and enterprise. We also focus on young people that are going into social innovations. And of course, professional development. But our major focus, again, as I've said, is on community use. Our target is that in 10 years, we want to impart about 5 million young people from across the continent, 50 countries in Africa, such that we can build global voices who are strong enough to build their communities. As I've said, I believe that our communities, when they are strong enough, our countries will be built. And then when our countries are built, the continent at large will be built. So we are using a community-based approach because we are using we are using a unit approach whereby our communities come together and of course build the continent. So generally speaking, when we talk about the Africa Day celebration that we had, one of our focus is that we want to celebrate Africa in a unique way. We want to project Africa. Of course, if you check very well, you will realize that the story of Africa across the globe is a bit different from what we are experiencing here. Most of the time, Africa is being painted as underdeveloped, ruined, and of course, are not privileged to witness some developmental So we felt as a need at projecting Africa, and at the same time instilling Africa in young minds, because one of the things I've understand is that when you talk about Africa, young people do not want to discuss about that topic. We found out that, of course, people want to say that I'm more concerned about myself, my goals, my career, and every other thing like that. So we felt that there is a need for us to project Africa in the minds of young people in such a way that they understand the uniqueness, the culture, the heritage of African people and African society as a whole. And then, of course, we try to motivate them in taking necessary steps once they understand, quote and unquote, now the structure and the knowledge. They have a deeper knowledge about Africa, and of course the issues that are affecting African and African youth, and then how best they can be tackled. So African Day celebrations generally has to do with celebrating Africa, celebrating our liberty, celebrating our heritage, celebrating our culture, and then, of course, bringing young people on board to mobilize them
Right.
for action that has to do with Africa.
Right. That's the Pan-African spirit. That is what we're looking for. That's what we need in this generation. Because we understand that as the little countries that make up the African continent, we are not able to thrive and compete favorably on the international stage. And so, of course, what you're doing is we need to applaud that, because that is where we need to be in raising a generation of young people who understand beyond the borders that they belong to geographically on the continent of Africa. I'm going to go ahead to Karima. Karima, talk to us about the conference. How you came about being taking part in the conference, and what your organization is doing in making an impact.
Thank you so much for this question. Actually, the conference came in the right time, where many countries in Africa are rethinking strategies how to recover from COVID-19. We're still living the consequences of the socioeconomic impact of the coronavirus. There are many countries in Africa who are still facing lockdowns. So basically, today there is a more need of an inclusive or more need of inclusive policies, where no one is leaving behind, where everyone has a voice in the policy making process, because coronavirus impacted us all throughout all different sectors, whether old people, young, women, vulnerable groups. So we are all concerned about the rebuilding of the new Africa. We want, not the Africa we want that we have as a document, but a new Africa that is taking into consideration the new priorities that emerged after coronavirus. And I would like to stress that Africa is a young. More than 60% of the population in Africa is young, and Africa should rely on its youth to build new visions for the future, to prepare this generation to, let's say, not to lead, but to take decisions, because we have a new generation of young leaders who would be the future decision makers. They need to be involved in the whole process of policy making, and more specifically the priorities that that emerge in the health sector, employment sector, and also education, and also the digital transformation that is impacting our daily life, as we are witnessing a rapid digitalization. And we need to think out ways how to adapt to these transformation and changes from the education sector, the employment sector. There will be new jobs that are emerging. So all these are, let's say, a fruitful ground for young people to be involved, because we want these people to be part of the process, because they need to own their own solutions for more sustainability. As far as my organization is concerned, I am CEO of Africa My Home, which is an organization that started as an initiative in 2017 in Tanzania. Where the concept is simple. Africa is our home. We belong to this continent, and it is our collective duty to build this continent all together. Of course, you can compare it to a home. You have your mother, your brother, your sisters, your siblings in one home. They are very different, They might have different religions, they might speak even different languages, they have different priorities, but they have a collective duty to build that home, to sustain it. So this is our Africa. So basically, we need to work all together based on our Pan-African values, and getting inspired by continental and international benchmarking, and adapt it to our local context and build this Africa, taking into account the different realities of different countries. So my organization is focusing more on socio-economic and political empowerment of young people, women, and vulnerable groups, using technology and innovation to serve development in the African continent.
Right. Thank you so much. I'm going to go quickly to Taslim. Taslim, go ahead. Talk to us about the organization.
Yes,
and
good
your
evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, African brothers and sisters. So it's a pleasure to be here and to be away from Africa, but in Africa. So I'm from Mauritius. So I'll speak directly. So I am a young entrepreneur, and also I'm the founders of and directors of Overseas Medical Care Assistance Limited. So I will explain briefly what we do, because we are heading toward Africa now, because we already did it for Mauritius. What we do is we start with basics. So whichever the treatment is not available, or whichever the service is not available from my country, so we help these people out to find out where to go. For example, if there's a treatment for brain surgery that's not available in my country, so we use all our technologies and we use our medical scores so that to bring them to other countries like India, Turkey, or Dubai or Abu Dhabi. So we try to help out these people to find out the proper treatment. And we help these people in the medical score, and we help out the patient, whichever age they are, so that to guide them toward the best hospital or the best care that will do. And also in the future, what we are planning for Africa is that we wanted them to come to a way where the African, the people, the doctors, the surgeon come from Mauritius, came from whichever country, India or Mauritius, they can come to Africa, so that they bring the support, they bring the service, they bring the technology. One with Overseas Medical Care Assistance Limited, so an organization of health and medical care where they build up so many things, and where we can build up many medical resources toward our African countries. So as we see that here, Mauritius, we are good in healthcare, but still what I've seen that yes, Africa do need much more medical healthcare. So that's why I'm heading now toward the African countries, so that we can move on. And secondly, as an entrepreneur, so I have several businesses that I have built in. So I said, why not building all this in African countries where we can help out these people who need job or create employment. So my mind is here. So why sharing all the mind toward my African countries who want to be part of it? So it's a new journey. Absolutely. And we are young. I believe that the young is the future.
Absolutely. The young.
That's from me.
Yes, thank you. The young are the future. The young are the future. And of course, if everyone is going to take their expertise and their brain power and take it to the West, how is Africa going to grow? So we want to be able to take the brilliant minds on the African continent and the talents that we have and use it to develop and grow Africa. Peter Oni, please quickly go ahead. Talk to us about your contribution and your impact for the conference that you just had.
It's a good evening, and thanks for having me on board. I think basically I will be talking about a project we recently finished in 3D Africa, which is the project 100, and that focus majorly on the young people. in the organization, we look at the trend of things, and we believe that youth, young people, are truly the future of Africa, and we decided a project to inspire the leadership consciousness in them, to inspire them to take actions and do things that will be of betterment to the growth of the continent. It's a very wonderful program bringing you together from across 50 countries, and young people within the age of 18 to 25, bringing them, of course, being the first edition. We have to make it a virtual one, but if we were able to still accomplish our goals and objectives, which is training them, equipping them, and bringing the best out of them so that they can take initiative to develop their communities and the Africa at large. We started with about 100 participants from about 50 countries, and of course, we reduced them gradually through projects, through the activeness in the system, to get the best out of them. And every week is about a 6 weeks program, and every week we ensure that they have some specified trainings, having grouped them into business, leadership and governance, business and enterprise, social innovation, and career and professional development. We group them into 4 departments and bring professionals to come train them every week. They have mentors that will be with them every week. They have people that will train them. They have also specialized trainees with certificates. They take on weekly basis, and they have assignment projects that they have to carry out on weekly basis. And at the end of the 6 week, we got a very great testimony from them that they be truly transformed by the program. They be truly blessed by it, and they are ready to take initiative to bless Africa, to be to lend their voice in bringing the positive changes that our continent truly desire at this time. And we recently finished it, and we are working on how to improve in the second edition to make it a very wonderful program.
Right. Thank you. Odusonya, when Peter was speaking, of course, I know I gather that both of you are working on the same projects back home in Nigeria. How, with what you're doing, are you doing based on continental Africa, or how has it been impactful, or how much impact have you made? How much impact have you achieved in Nigeria where you are right now? Having in mind that the topic talked about silencing the guns, and there's so much insecurity and unrest in Nigeria, how does that affect your projection for where you should be with the plan you have with your platform?
Well, Susan, thank you for that question. I quite understand that. First and foremost, as an organization, we set out 2 projects to do every year. One of them is Project 100 that the coordinator talked about, and then engage the community. But one thing that is very clear, in fact, in terms of silencing the gun, is that we know that education and empowerment are key to making youth responsible. This is the bedrock of every development. Development is like a foundation for peace, and then of course the bedrock for development is education and empowerment. So one of the key approaches to solving violences and the like that is to ensure that people are equipped and educated. They know that there are values. In the project he talked about, we have what is called the general session. In that general session, we took them to African history. We took them to African leadership, some of the Pan-African leaders that have come in and the likes. We also took them to AU Agenda 2063. We took them to some of the incidents that have happened in history. In fact, they also learned about some countries, some of their languages, their culture and everything. Those are general sessions. So we believe that educating them about the values, the culture, the heritage of African leaders and everything. One, they get to get well educated about the continent, and then of course they can align themselves with the positives, because we let them know the positive and negative. So we believe that engaging them through this platform can help shape them. So like 100 of them, 50 of them like that can be shaped in that form. We preach to others that we do not need violence for development. Either we need to support ourselves, collaborate together to ensure our community develops. Now, back to the topic that we looked at, that's economic recovery. Of course, we must also understand that for economic issues are top priority issues in Africa. And of course, that for me personally, there are three major issues. One is security, one is a governance issue, and one is economic issue. Bringing them together into one umbrella, I believe that education is still the solution to a lot of these issues, and it starts with one, equipping the youth at the community level. So our approach to silencing the gun and ensuring economic recovery is one, letting people understand the peculiarity of their environment, their past. If you check out very well statistically, you get to find out that a lot of young people do not know about their continent, even their immediate community, talk less of their country and the like. So with this deficiency in knowledge, a young person can decide to misbehave because he does not understand the peculiarity and then the issues and histories around this but getting to know this, he get to begin to align himself with that particular community or continent, and then of course, then getting to get equipped on the long run, make them more efficient and sufficient enough to build themselves up. And then of course, if individuals are thriving in key areas of the economy, then of course each country will thrive and the continent will thrive at large.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and that's fantastic. Karima, I want to ask, we already have the challenge on the African continent where young people don't even know beyond their communities, they don't know beyond their cultures, they don't know very much. Then we're faced with this misunderstanding of ourselves as Africans. You're a Moroccan. I have had conversations with people here in London who are not dark-skinned Africans. And when you begin to understand the mindset of young people who do not understand that regardless of whether somebody is from Sudan, Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, who is a lot more melanated than them, that they are not a lower or an inferior person or being, and so they should not be ashamed to identify with them, because there is this conflict and misinformation, miseducation that has happened over the centuries, that we are now trying to begin to disabuse the minds of Africans, even older generation. How can you, Karima, use what you do, especially in your home country in Morocco, to begin to help the minds of young Africans, especially, to understanding that regardless of how melanated someone else is, there is no inferior or superior African, because until that mindset is broken, we cannot work together to succeed as Africans.
Yeah, I think this is a very valid question. But let me explain here. In the case of Morocco, we've been educated not to differentiate between white or dark skin. For us, we have in Morocco mixed up people who are white, yellow, dark skin. But for us, they are Moroccans, as also for the religion. For when you are Moroccan, you have to embrace all the values and all the diversity. And our constitution is insisting on the affluence of Moroccan culture, part of which is African influence. We are in North Africa, but we are in the African continent. We are Africans for us, whether we like it, we don't like it, we are Africans. And also I think we have a dynamic of civil society organizations who are working actively to to do what we call moralization of public life, so that they can raise awareness of Moroccans all alike about the importance of diversity in the Moroccan culture. You know that in Morocco we have a bigger number of Africans from sub-Saharan Africa living in Morocco, and others who are migrating through Morocco. And our country has maybe one of the leading countries who has a real migration strategy. And you know, the African Union Observatory migration is based in Morocco, and now I think the country is moving beyond just doing regularization of paperwork and documentation of migrants from sub-Saharan Africa to integration into the Moroccan society, including a whole package from the public policy through the raising awareness of civil society, so that this should be part of our culture. It adds to our culture. So we were not seeing it as something different. And, you know, Morocco, it has a South-South cooperation, and many organizations and also enterprises are working towards building partnership with other African countries, namely in West Africa and other types of countries. We have also policies against all kinds of discrimination and racism, which is good. I think the raising awareness is quite important, and a very good work that civil society is doing. But at the same time, if we look back at religion as well, it says there is no difference between black and white or Caucasians or whatever, you know. So I think this also adds to that culture of diversity, which is quite important. If I don't even speak about a global picture, if I speak only about just my community, we have diverse people with different backgrounds, different priorities, different visions. And, you know, sometimes if you go just, you know, a few miles away, you speak the same language, but you have different accents, you have different vocabulary. So this adds to your culture, to your diversity. So embracing this in school, changing textbooks so that people would grow with this culture of diversity, of human rights, so that we better fight all kinds of discrimination from the childhood, so that young people would grow with this culture. Because the racism or any act that we see in a society in general, whether in Morocco or in other African country, is just a result of how are we educated in society. And I think it's in terms of Morocco, we are so privileged that we are close to Europe. We are Africans. We have a lot of affluence, so we are going with this acceptance of this diversity.
Right, you are close to Europe, but you are on the continent of Africa. You are African, and I want to just say thank you to Morocco for what they're doing as far as inclusiveness of everybody in that society, be it sub-Saharan African. That's good news. That's something that we want to hear, because one of the challenges that the future generation will still have to deal with if these issues are not addressed and young people are not educated is that we cannot agree, and without an agreement we cannot develop as Africans. So the moment we understand and begin to break those barriers of superiority, feeling superior against someone simply because you're lighter in skin or you have silkier hair, the earlier the better for every one of us. And there is someone, Taufik Dilo from YouTube, who says we African think that we are inferior with other countries. We need to change this mindset and focus to lead the world. Absolutely. And Taslim, please go ahead and make your contributions as to how we can bring Africans together on the continent, first of all, to see ourselves as one, regardless of what we might look like physically?
See, really, I am from a small island, so we know that the population of Mauritius is only 1.2 million compared to the huge African country. When you see it on the world map, it's only a dot. You can't see even Mauritius. But how technology came now and how we as a young, so we can build up together and bring it and like I feel like I'm not only a tiny spot in the world. So I can feel that the African continent is at my back. So that's what make me feel like, yes, there's lots thing to do. There's many things to do. So Mauritius, you know that all that it is a developed countries. We have a lot of tourism coming, but COVID is here. So we all know that the COVID is here and the everything is closed and the tourist is not coming. So all this will definitely have a pause. It's a pause now. So new thing is coming. So new thing is coming means that there's a new way of life. So COVID is here and we all know about it. So it's coming to African countries also, and we have to live with it. And we live with it and we have to make sure that, yes, how to progress in it, how to make the people aware that, yes, it's here, but we need to make the progress out of it. And as to make African one unity, I would just to say that, yes, we all the same. As Karima just told about how it is that there's no differentiation between white and there's no differentiation between black, or there's no differentiation between poor or rich or any country. So if we African, we put it in our heart that yes, we are one and we unite ourselves. So definitely there's a huge way to go. And the past is past. So if we keep talking about the past, so we still lag behind. So let's see the future now. Let's see the future. Let's see how we can make ourselves, each of one of us, we make it a difference. So we change ourselves and we may see that, yes, the future, as we say, that with the young generation and the one who already here. Definitely, I'm not telling that we should not listen to the elder one, but we need to listen to them guide. They are the one to guide us. But we as a young, we need to change our mindset that, yes, the future is now, we have to take the lead. We have to take the new generation. Africa is in our hands. So how can we change it? So the previous one, the corruption that they did, the things that was happening. So let's forget about all this. Let's bring all together, all the countries of African countries. Let's put hands together and let's have like a daily meeting and see how things can be changed. So for me, there's no differentiate in white. There's no differentiate in black. So if we all put the same thing, so we're going to unite ourselves. And
right.
I do believe
Tasneem, Tasneem, I'm going to interject quickly. I want to ask you something. You know, during this era of COVID, you've seen how Africa has suffered when it comes to the lack of medical facilities and any kind of facility on the continent that makes that can produce a vaccine. What is your I believe you're into medicine. You're into medicines or medical devices of some sort. I know you say Mauritius is a small island, but is there anything that is coming from your end, from your country, as far as dealing with the realities of the gap that is created on the African continent, as far as health facilities and medicines and vaccines are concerned?
Just Suzanne, I had a problem with the internet. Can you just repeat the question, the last bit one, please?
Yeah, so your business is in the medical field with the reality that we have seen on the African continent with lack of medicine, medical facilities, vaccines. No African country on the continent produces a vaccine. Is there anything coming from Mauritius that is going to be changing the narrative soon on the African continent as far as medicines and vaccines go?
Yeah, to be frank with you, yes. So Mauritius is part of African countries, so we are same like African countries. So the thing is, the main thing that is coming to COVID is that we all need to take our precaution. In terms of medicine or vaccines, yes, we need to take the one who are regulated by the FDA or the World Health Organization, the one who have been approved. So there are so many like AstraZeneca, there's Moderna, there's many like many vaccines that have already been approved. And for me, yes, all this all the government side need to take the initiative. And we've seen a lot of pressure in Mauritius that yes, we encourage people. The Mauritians want to take the vaccine because as soon as the borders will open, the frontier will open, so the people, so the tourists will come, because our main business here is the tourism community, where our economy is based on the tourism one. So
Right.
we are waiting the tourism to come, so that all the maximum Mauritian have been vaccinated with for the COVID, so that even with the business will grow, and then the people will be safe out of the COVID way. But in
Right.
terms
Thank
of
you.
as I'm in medical field, so we've seen yes, Africa need to be educated. Yes, people need to be educated about the COVID side. So we need to take our special precaution. And we've seen that recently how India has been crushed, and this is because of the population. But we on our side, our African side, we just need to take our precaution, wearing mask and wash hand every time. That's the best way
Right.
to
Thank you.
prevent.
Thank you. Even though that didn't answer my question, I'm going to move on quickly because we have a little more time. Odusonya, if you can hear me, I want you to give a summarization of what the conference was about, what your agreements was in the conclusion of that conference that you had a few days ago.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much, Susan. Now, the first thing I'll talk about. Let me quickly talk about what we are doing to moralize the African mentality in people. By God's grace, in August we are going to be doing a project called Engage the Community. The Engage the Community is a project targeted towards young people within the community. We get volunteers. Our target is to get about 1,000 volunteers for 1,000 community. And of course, our focus for that project is that we get to bring young people together, talk about the African culture and community leadership, and then how young people can synergize together to develop their community. I still maintain a standard. If communities are developed, then the continent will be developed. So community-based approach is the best solution for African continent, for institutionalizing Africa, and of course for strategically collaborating together for development. So that Engage the Community is coming up in August. We'll talk about that one later. Now back to the conference. Some of the things we said is that one, education must be taken as a priority. Whether in an informal way or the formal way, we should ensure that our young generations are educated. Of course, we know that peace studies, peace discussion deals with one, fundamental knowledge about human rights, fundamental knowledge about community development and growth of the continent, and then how we are interrelated and interdependent on one another. So as such, the first approach is that ensuring that one, education is paramount, and then of course we also look at getting to ensure history in every in schools. One of the things we found out is that maybe because of some policies are coming out that history should be removed from some of our curriculums, which is not good. We agree that the government should make policies and ensure that histories are back in the schools. Young people should know about their histories, their culture, their heritage, and what has happened in the past. This will help them in making decisions about the future. We understand that without adequate knowledge about the past, it is very easy for a youth to be conceived or to be deceived rather, or to be managed in such a way that it can manage in such a way that, or influence in such a way that it can misbehave. So as such, we agree that history should be part. And then, of course, we also said that there is a need for collaboration among African young Africans. We need organizations to come together and carry out projects that first centered on empowerment, second that focus on moralization of African doctrine, African culture, heritage, and the likes, and then that will come together to carry out projects in building the younger generations that are coming next. So these are some of the things we talk about, and then of course we said that empowerment is key to economic development.
Empowerment is key to economic development, and that is absolutely true. I'm going to go to Karima. We're rounding up now. Karima, collaboration is key, and thank goodness for all these. Can you, anyone who is not talking, please mute your microphone because there's so much noise coming from somewhere. Collaboration is key to achieving anything, and thank goodness for the platforms that we have, for all these social medias that we have, the applications that allow us to see each other, talk to each other without necessarily leaving the comfort of our home. So, Karima, with all this going on, what is the way forward with the way that you see or you perceive or you have planned to use your platform to continue to bring Africans all around the continent, young Africans together to enlighten, empower, and educate them moving forward?
Yeah, thank you. Well, my priority number one in Africa, my home, and also in the International Center for Diplomacy, in which I am the president, is how to contribute to building inclusive digital policies for youth, women, and vulnerable groups. Today, it is a fact that digitalization is transforming our lives. Before coronavirus, there was a digital acceleration, yes, but with Corona, we didn't expect to move to a different stage of digital transformation, whether at the educational sector or at the enterprise sector. So, you know that during these 2 years, millions of Africans lost their jobs, whether in the formal or informal sector. And there will be new jobs. There are new jobs that emerged with coronavirus, and there will be new jobs already emerging with digitalization, automatization, artificial intelligence. So, you know, as my colleague said, empowerment is key. But what type of empowerment we need today in post-coronavirus for socioeconomic recovery? The most important thing for me is to look at ways and strategies to upgrade our empowerment policies and also methodology and strategies so that we can follow these transformations and trends. And it's important to support young people, women, and vulnerable groups, whether from government or also civil society organizations. But as we say, teach me how to fish, but don't give me a fish every day. So the key priority, in my opinion, is to raise the capacity of youth, women, and vulnerable groups so that they can be able to support themselves, innovate new projects, and also try to move from a mindset of having a stable full job, because nobody is stable today, to having an entrepreneurship mindset, trying to create, because today, as you just outlined, you know, technology facilitated our life, but it imposes a lot of challenges, because Africa is still facing a lot of problems: electricity, power, connectivity, technology infrastructure, which impacts more specifically vulnerable groups and those living in rural areas from benefiting from all those digitalized public services. So we need, no, not everybody has a smartphone, not everybody has a connection. So what are we doing for those who don't have access to this technology? So we have to think two ways, because there are two pace. There is a rapid pace, and we need to raise the capacity of people who are now facing transformation, and they have to use all different complicated platforms in their job, in their civil society work, and in daily life in general. And there is another a group of people who do not have access to technology, and they don't have even the digital culture. They don't have the capacity to use those services. So we have to work two ways so that nobody would be left behind. So we need to have gender sensitive and inclusive digital policies that are made with us and by us and for us, where we should include all stakeholders in the process of developing the digitalization policies that we want in the future, that are adaptive to our pace and also to our context. So I think this is something of a priority, because today we're talking more of an advanced digital economy. There are a lot of challenges imposed by coronavirus in the open markets. A lot of enterprises got bankrupt. So we need to work on finding out innovative ways so that we can smoothly move towards an efficient socioeconomic recovery.
Absolutely well articulated. Thank you, Karima. Taslim, I just want you to take a minute or two, summarize, talk to young Africans on the continent how, on the way forward with what you're doing, and how, if you want collaborations, whatever it is, the message you want to get out there, take a few minutes, a minute or two to put that message across really quickly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Susan. Yes, what we said that yes, post-COVID everything changed. So we are in a new world, and a new African is here. So for me, as a young generation, basically I'm a nurse. So I was trained as a nurse, so specializing in cardiac department. So I've seen that yes, staying like a nurse is not the way to move forward. So I take the decision. I put myself outside of the box. So I think a different way here. How can I change myself first? So we need to change ourselves and put it in our mind that yes, we can do it. Believe in ourselves. So I believe in myself that yes, I can create something. I can build up something, and I come with a mind to Overseas Medical Care Assistance Limited, where we are taking patients to go for above for treatment, and we are recognized internationally now. So what I think that yes, why not whoever is interested in Africa. So if they think that yes, their country do lack medicals of expertise, or need some training with the doctors, or need some conferences with the doctors, so don't hesitate to contact me so that we can build what I have built in Mauritius, so we can do it in several parts of African countries. And what I need is just that the people who believe in themselves. Once they believe in themselves, so we just build the era, and we create the new opportunities, and this also will create job for the population, and will create a new different way out of thinking. So the thing is, yes, we are not here to compete with anyone. We are not here to take the job of anyone. We are just here to help the people. So imagine if our brothers or sisters in Africa who have a cancer, or he needed radio surgery, and we don't have it in Africa, where to go? Where they need to go, and who they need to contact. So we just need to build an office there, and just to educate the people where they can go, and about the costing, etc. Where they're going. For example, they're going to India, or they're going to Turkey, so they all know about the prices, and how much it costs, everything, so that they can, for example, if they don't have money, also they can collect the money, and they can do the proper surgery and come back to their countries. Because according to my experience, I think that yes, many Africans, they do come to India or Turkey for their treatment. So it's time for us to build these spaces, and also that if ever we can work out with a new plan of or businesses or for the new entrepreneurs. So why not to contribute with African young brothers and sisters? So let's do it together.
Right.
So I learned
Right.
I can't do anything, many things. So with the help we can do, we can change African continent itself. So that's part of
Absolutely.
it.
With collaboration, we can do we can achieve so much more than doing it ourselves. And like you
Thank you.
mentioned, what we need, all that is needed is belief in oneself, to believe in ourselves. I wanted everyone to give a short summary of but I can see one of the challenges Karima was talking about was, these telecommunications and the stability of electricity. We're already seeing that with the participants disappearing and reappearing because of poor connection. So I'm just gonna, Karima, your parting words really quickly, and then we call it a day today on this program.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for hosting us in this program. And I believe that it is really high time to reinforce South-South cooperation, encourage youth and especially fresh young enterprises in the African continent to collaborate together. I think we have the talent, we have a lot of interest in benchmarking that we need to share one another. Of course, we have different contexts. We lived coronavirus differently, but I think it's high time to collect best practices and lessons learned from how Africans lived this period of coronavirus, and what are the better ways to overcome this coronavirus, more specifically from socioeconomic recovery. We can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay.
You are mute, Susan.
Sorry. Adeola, quickly, 30 seconds, your parting words.
Yes, my parting word is simple. One, as young people, we need collaboration. We need to really collaborate. And then, of course, if we want economic recovery, we should focus on empowerment. And then, of course, empowerment in skills, and then, of course, empowerment in terms of enterprise, ensuring that young people are financially sustainable. And, of course, they have a system that is running for them. As such, if every young person is empowered and, of course, are sustainable on their own, then they have the financial capacity to collaborate with other young people, and of course to ensure economic development. But more importantly, education is key to transformation.
Education is key. Thank you so very much. I just want to say a very big thank you to all of you, Karima, Taslim, and Adeola. Thank you all the way from Morocco, from Mauritius, and from Lagos, Nigeria. I will catch up with you on the other side. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so that's the much we can take for today. But the thing is, we're beginning to control the narrative. What we're doing is not a waste of time. We're beginning to see change. We're beginning to see young people waking up, young people understanding, and we're beginning to raise a generation of Pan-Africanists. And that's what we need. You can hear what the 3D people are doing, what Karima is doing in Morocco. And so we want to keep encouraging young people to educate themselves beyond their immediate environment and boundaries, to begin to understand the other side of Africa. Because if we don't know ourselves, we cannot come together, we cannot collaborate, we cannot build Africa. We cannot then have the Africa that we want. So thank you for joining us. Please share this broadcast even after we've come off live. And if you haven't liked, followed, or subscribed to our channels, please do so. It is Africa Rise TV on YouTube, Africa Rise TV on Facebook, and Africa_Rise.tv on Instagram. It's been a pleasure. And I will see you next weekend, God willing. Goodbye.